This is Button then lining up the second Red Bull of the afternoon, and that was relatively straightforward, wasn't it? I wonder if we could see that curb that we're talking about. Sato passing Montero in the Jordan. Montero having a solid run, still P12 at the moment. Raikkonen now leads by 1.6 seconds. He's a tenth of a second per lap faster than Alonso, who's a tenth of a second per lap faster than Fisichella in third place. Montoya, surprisingly, very surprisingly, is beginning to fall back. He's already 7.6 seconds behind race leader Raikkonen. The leaders are doing 126s, and the two Ferraris are doing 128s, mid-128s now. Meanwhile, Raikkonen puts in the fastest lap of the race to make hay, while Alonso's in pit lane. Away he goes. A lot of fuel going in that car, so it'll be a long second stint for Alonso. At least it's got him up the front and kept him out of trouble, hasn't it? That qualifying theory, if you like, has kept him out of the middle, out of all the squabbling in the middle of the pack, and he pops out just in front of Button, who is P6.
Yeah, so he drops back in again in 5th place. Clearly both Renaults were running relatively light in qualifying.
Montoya was 2 seconds behind Fisichella, therefore just about out of the dirty air, but he'll have to really get the hammer down now. Montoya can come in here and start playing a key role for McLaren. And there is Webber recovering. He's been in for a puncture, and he tags the Ferrari of Michael Schumacher. He's lost his own front wing. Michael turning in, it looks to me like he had the corner, to be fair.
And while that was going on, an epically long stop for Giancarlo Fisichella. I didn't see the final clock, but he only got away just a few seconds ago. There's Webber with no nose. Here comes Michael Schumacher, and Ted Kravitz is in the pits.
It was another fuel rig failure for Giancarlo Fisichella. They put it in and kept it on for so long before they realised that no fuel was going in. Then they had to swap to the backup, which did work, but it cost him about 20 seconds.
Yeah, so we missed that. It was off camera then, but a very long pit stop for Fisichella. That's going to put him right back into the midfield at the moment. Michael Schumacher been tagged in the left rear. I'd like to see a replay of that, but first thoughts are that he really did.
Confusion, look Martin, look at the confusion here. It's like Nürburgring a few years ago when they had a committee meeting about it. They're having another committee meeting. Get the tyres on and get him out of there. Ross Brawn is at the back as well. They're trying to see whether...
The tyres are rotational, you see. You can't... obviously front is a lot narrower than the rear, but my understanding is you can run some of these tyres the wrong way round, on the front that is, but the rear is not, where the power is transmitted. But see, Michael came, he had the incident right at the end of the lap, shot down the pit lane. The team were not ready for him at all.
Just getting in touch with the steering. You saw Michael Schumacher there, just moving the car gently from side to side, just making sure everything is connected before he launches it out onto the racetrack. Not getting up to speed particularly quickly though, Martin.
Now, I wonder if he's got rear suspension damage there. And this is Button then still chasing Alonso. They're now 4th and 5th, and Alonso getting held up there just by Michael Schumacher. No problem though. Button's best chance yet. What they know is that they can't afford to, for Jensen in his lighter fuel load, to lose time behind Alonso, who we know has just put 10 seconds worth of fuel in the car. Button needs to clear him quickly. And in this championship is not... oh, look, Michael pushing Fisichella off the road there. Michael cruising back to the pits and forcing Fisichella off the road. And what a drama-filled 2 laps Michael Schumacher's had.
And into retirement for the, I believe, the 4th time this season goes Michael Schumacher. What's such a picture from 12 months ago.
What they've got to do is, if it's a wishbone, here we go. Webber did the big swap around. He's a long way along. Actually, Webber is a long way up the inside of Michael. And maybe he just caught him out. Maybe with the big swap, he's halfway down his side pod. Michael should have given him space, no doubt about it. It was Mark that did the swap over and was fully committed up the inside. Michael didn't see it developing.
Trulli then pits from 3rd place. He's dropped right off the pace in the run up to these pit stops. His speed seems to have gone away from him. 18 seconds behind the race leader before he made that stop.
And he's got another run at the back of Alonso, who's been held up behind the Jordan in turn 8, but he's still said, Alonso's got to keep it tight on the top of the hill. Now Jensen's got a fabulous opportunity to get in that slipstream and sling one up the inside of the World Championship. Look how he's getting sucked in, and Alonso's going a little bit defensive, but Jensen surely will send it right up the inside, and Alonso will say, after you, thank you very much, good luck, have a nice day, you're not my problem.
Did you see how early that move happened? It happened way back, like a couple of corners back, that Jensen set that one up. It was absolutely beautifully executed as well, and interesting to see that graphic, just how deeper on the brakes he went. All nicely under control. The McLaren 1-2 at the moment. They've yet to score one in the Grand Prix this season. Is this to be the first time? Oh no, not like that, it won't be. Oh my goodness me, the lollipop went up, I believe, and Montoya released it, and it took the refueler with it.
Well, he was 25.9 seconds ahead when he pitted, and the Renault will appear in the background, but Montoya maintains the position. That so often happens, where the lollipop man sees the refueler coming out and it doesn't fully come out. Ted is down there.
And they've made it. He's okay though. He's no problem with the McLaren guy. They've made an adjustment to Jensen Button's front tyre pressures, so clearly he thinks he can go better on this kind of tyre pressure, this setup. McLaren guys back on their feet. They're all okay because Raikkonen is coming in now.
Kimi Raikkonen, then the race leader, we're expecting him any moment. Jensen Button goes out of the pits. Where is he relative to Jarno Trulli? That was the car he was racing against before. I believe he will be behind him, somewhere around 7th place. We will find out in a moment. Let's focus for the moment on the race leader. Kimi Raikkonen on lap 22 comes into the pits. And Webber is in the wars again. Yet another right rear puncture on a Williams.
That's bizarre.
They're cursed.
Whether it's just a camber they're running at the rear or a pressure that's different to everybody else, but quite clearly it's consistent across the two cars. But anybody who's ever hung on to one of those fuelers knows just how massively heavy and difficult they are to operate. And what happens is the lollipop man sees all the jerk reaction of lifting the fueler out of the car, and it all looks like it's working. Suddenly the end of the nozzle doesn't come out, but the car's away. The system is already in play. The driver's absolutely on the ragged edge, ready to go, and that's how that happens. But I wonder why Webber's doing that, because it's looked like a straightforward puncture, doesn't it? And here he is again, under braking, and off that right rear goes off the rim. Almost looks like a rim problem as much as a tyre problem for Williams.
Well, I was mentioning they've got a new device, I'm told, on the rear brakes, which is a sort of a drum that's designed to keep the heat inside the braking mechanism, to stop it from affecting the rear tyres, and clearly they felt that might be an issue here. Let's have another look at what happened in Montoya. Oh yes, you see the rig wouldn't come. The lollipop man a little bit too previous on lifting it, and over he went, but luckily it didn't break anything from the looks of things. So Raikkonen leading, Montoya, Alonso third, Klein fourth, yet to stop the two Red Bull cars. Fourth and fifth, Klein and Coulthard.
Felipe Massa, who's had a terrible, terrible afternoon with a first corner incident, all sorts of dramas, got himself back up to P11. He is now out of the Grand Prix, and it's exactly incidents like this as to why I think they'll try and get Michael Schumacher back into the Grand Prix. Raikkonen leads.
We've seen Williams losing a lot of right rear tyres here this afternoon. Mysterious circumstances. And a moment ago, Nick Heidfeld, second time this afternoon, and what a place to do it.
Yeah, I think that's an instant problem that develops. Otherwise, the teams know what the tyre pressures are from the telemetry. So they should, if it's a deflation, a slow deflation, a tiny puncture, they would see that developing. It's obviously just catching the drivers out. For me, it's a rim problem, or just some way that the tyre's not fitting correctly on the rim that gets most loading. Ted has further news.
And they could have changed, Martin. They had to think about it, Williams. I'm just looking into the garage. They had to think about just changing Heidfeld's tyre and then sending him out again, but they thought, no, there's clearly something wrong. Either it's a problem with the rim, as you said, or with a problem with the rear wing actually cutting the tyre, and the tyre is underloading it. Maybe it's been cutting on the rear wing end plate, but they decided it was just the safer option for Nick Heidfeld to come in and retire. But both drivers in the garage wanting an explanation as to what is going on.
Nick, clearly some kind of problem that's on the car, or is it on the car, that's causing these tyre issues. What can you tell us?
Yeah, I think we had 4 tyre failures now, 2 on my car, 2 on Mark's in the race. Mark already had 1 in the practice. So obviously there's something not working together properly between the tyres and our car. because I don't think any other cars had problems so far.